Alright everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome back to Echo, that one furry visual novel that people keep talking about and want me to play. And there's that other Protogen one that's just, it's out there, something to do, because other visual novels are taking a while to update, like 922, and other things like that. But we're continuing where we left off of whatever pathway feels the right. Some people say you have to play all the pathways, and it's all worth it. I won't know, but we'll see. It depends on audience retention, really. But let's get back into it. What would really impress me is if you didn't eat the rest. You're a funny guy, Flynn. Carl goes right back to shoving the next burger into his mouth as Flynn looks on in mild disgust. Same here. He suddenly notices us watching him, and he gives us an odd look. But that slowly morphs into a smirk as he focuses on Leo. You're looking pretty happy there, Leo. Not like you've been for the past 3 years. I furrow my brow in confusion. I look up at Leo. I see him shift, and he's giving Flynn a look that I don't quite understand. Well, of course I'm happy to see us all back together again. I look from Leo to Flynn, and it's pretty easy to imagine a bolt of electricity between them. You should have seen him, Chase. He'd go days without smiling. Agreed. Leo's been kind of a dick ever since you guys left. Isn't Jenna a counselor? Hey, you should have a session with Leo. I'm still an undergrad. I'm not going into counseling anyway. That would just make me sad. And you really shouldn't try to psychoanalyze your friends. That just makes things weird. TJ is busy trying to hold his sandwich together and eat it at the same time. Not very successfully, but he looks up as well. Leo depressed. It's hard to imagine you not smiling. You seemed fine online. Has something been going on, Leo? For the first time since he's arrived, Leo looks truly uncomfortable. You don't see him like that very often. Flynn, on the other hand, has his trying not to smirk face on. What? Leo pauses, pinned down by everyone's eyes in the room. Then he takes a frustrated breath. Can't people be sad sometimes? Yes, things have been harder, but I'm fine. I think it's pretty clear that Flynn, Leo flicks his long muzzle at the lizard, is just trying to get some reactions. Sure, I'm just saying you're back to your old self, but seriously, it's great. Leo makes a snorting sound. I'm about to ask Leo what's so stressful when he lifts his paw up again to take a bite of his almost finished sandwich. I go quiet as I look at his paw. A silver anchor tied around his wrist with leather. The word otter is etched into the shank of the anchor. The name Chase is engraved into the stock. Why was he still... Chase. I jump as TJ's voice breaks through my trance, bouncing on the bed once I come down. Leo looks at me as the bed wobbles, an eyebrow raised. TJ puts a paw to his muzzle. Oops, sorry, you were just kinda staring off into space. Yeah, just thinking about stuff, what's up? We were just talking about the last game. Didn't you tell me that you saw that movie on the drive here? I really don't get you right now, TJ. The last game was the worst Lions Brigade movie. You're just mad because they didn't follow the comics. Yeah, Carl, as a movie, it was just better. I'm sure the comics are great too, though. Nah, the comics are shit. Carl tried showing them to me once. Wah! See, this is the problem. They never followed the source material, and no one cares because they have no respect for the originals, man. You're way too picky, Carl. The last game was a great movie. Not you too, Leo. I don't know, I think Lions Brigade was always a bit too violent for me. What with all the shooting and punching. I mean, isn't that like every movie and TV show, man? And punching. Punching bad. Thank God there was no stabbing. I've always liked the Trinity Weasel. She's the thinking man's super heroine? Carl waves his paw dismissively. The Trinity comics have always been pretty lame. They're jerk-off fodder for lonely nerds, and so's the movie. Ha, you mean like yourself? Hey. Hold up, we're talking about Trinity now. Julia Blasco, she's hella fine. Never seen an ass like hers on a weasel before. Damn, a weasel's ass? That's because it's fake. No, not fake weasel ass, oh no. No, I just like the story. It's really kind of deep if you think about it. It was hard to think about when half the shots are slow-mo, and she's doing all these flips and backbends and shit. I didn't think that was your sort of thing. Anyway, Flynn? Flynn doesn't have time to retort before Jenna shifts her attention, seemingly coming to TJ's defense. Come on, Trinity does have more story going on than your average superhero movie. I think it's great that you like her character over all the meatheads. Yeah, they just stuck in all the boob shots to reel in the dummies. A weasel with boobs. Who'd have expected? Of course that's easy for someone like you to say. Besides, I see what's going on here. Maybe you should watch Luce Lobo? TJ, he's shirtless the whole time. TJ's arrows go flat, tufts pointed at the ground. I'd better stop it with all the saucy talk. The only way this could get any more awkward is if you got sprung. We all groan in unison, but TJ shoots right back. And knowing you, that's exactly what you want to happen, isn't it, Flynn? That gets a few surprised chuckles. Damn, TJ, where'd that come from? It isn't that it is a particularly good joke. It's that it came from TJ that makes it so funny. I don't think I've ever heard him talk like that. Even Flynn can't keep from grinning a little bit. Tiny little Lynx has a little bit of a backbone. We talk late into the afternoon. At this point, all of my worries have just disappeared, leaving a happy, warm feeling in its place. It seems silly that I'd been so nervous earlier. In fact, I'm starting to look forward to the rest of the week. Alright. Leo steps forward, indicating that we all should shut up. Now we all need to remember that Chase is here to do his school project, so that comes first. But I did make a few other plans for things that we can do on his off time. I'm pretty sure all of us know that we're going to Southwest Adventures tomorrow, so I'll pick these two up. He jerks his head towards Flynn and Carl. Then swing by the motel to get you guys at 9, alright? Sounds good. Then I was thinking about doing some stuff in Peyton towards the end of the week, but we'll make those plans later. In between those times, we should find time to hang out as well. Make the most of this. Leo looks about done, but suddenly snaps his fingers as if remembering something. Oh yeah, Chase. I saw you had a camera. Think you could get a pic of us? It would be nice for all of us to have something that isn't camera phone quality. Oh sure, I was messing with the self-timer earlier. Should be able to get it to work. After a few minutes of me adjusting the tripod and Leo adjusting everyone at the end of one of the beds, we managed to get into position. Alright, here goes. I set the timer and fast walked to the spot Leo saved for me. You getting a happy photo? Will I get to see you? It's that one. It's the one from the main menu. For the next 2 hours, we watch a movie on TV, not really paying attention, mostly just catching up with each other on how we'd been. It's good to be back, and it feels like we were all just picking up where we left off 3 years ago. It's really nice. Finally, at about 10, Leo, Carl, and Flynn head out. I spend the next 20 minutes tinkering with the equipment, making sure it's all in working order for shooting the next day. Once TJ finishes getting ready for bed in the bathroom, I do as well before getting to bed. Head to toe with TJ. There's a soft glow from the corner, as Jenna sits at the table reading something. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, waiting for her to go to sleep. There's a chain attached to my ankle. As I walk away from the lake, my legs and feet caked in mud. I look back, seeing the chain snaking back around the rocks and reeds before disappearing into the water. Looking ahead again, I see Leo. He's smiling, waving at me. Also, this music is familiar. It's definitely royalty-free, but it's better at least than there being music that is copyright, like the first episode, which my video is actually demonetized, in fact, because it wasn't using royalty-free music. Very fantastic. But yeah. I walk towards him, and the chain stays slack, pulling easily out of the water. There's an anchor in the lake, I say. I stare at him, but he doesn't say anything and just keeps on smiling. I crouch on the rocks, wrapping the chain around my wrist a few times. Leo kneels next to me, rubbing my back and sticking out his arm to compare our bracelets, saying that everyone gets one. He seems happy, but I'm stuck here. I can't even stand up to walk. A strange little nightmare, perhaps. Sunday. Peyton is about a bit of a distance away. To get there, you have to get on Route 93, which Flynn tells me isn't even called that anymore. That would make sense considering how it was impossible to find on the GPS. Anyway, to get to the city, you have to merge from the remnants of 93 onto I-40, which runs straight through the city of Peyton. About 15 minutes from Peyton, we pull over at a rest stop which sits at a higher elevation than Neco. If you're looking in the right direction, it gives you a great view of the town. I stand outside the old, run-down restroom, a paw over my eyes as I stare out over the desert. A distant, hazy view of a group of small buildings huddled together signals where the town is. From this vicarious distance, it looks small and harmless. Hard to imagine all of the things that happened there. Alright, how do I use this thing? I look over and see Leo fumbling with the camera, obviously worried that he was going to break it. With his big, strong arms, I walk over and show him how to use it, checking the white balance and exposure myself. I wasn't too good with cameras, but the equipment manager at the university had given me a quick lesson on how to do things. Alright, so I want you to zoom out from Echo, slowly, and while you do that, I'm going to walk in frame, okay? Yeah, okay. Leo hoists the camera up and looks through the viewfinder, ears perked up and smiling. Alright, signal me when you're ready. I adjust the clip-on mic while Leo focuses the camera, then raises his paw signaling that I should start. I walk into the frame, keeping one paw in my pocket and using the other to gesture. I hope I don't look too awkward, I always feel like I do. Echo first began as a settlement in 1852, after James Hendricks discovered gold in a quartz deposit. The town grew quickly in size, and once it began to serve as a junction along Prescott Railway, it reached a peak population of 6,500 in 1877. It was at this point in time that a peculiar phenomenon of mass hysteria took over. Many say the reason this occurred was due to the discovery of a body within the gold mine and the circumstances surrounding that discovery. While not much is known about this event, what is known is that once it ended, a large portion of the population left Echo. Most of those who left settled in the nearby town of Peyton. However, the town still managed to prosper well enough until the 40s. That's when the government stepped in to shut down the mine, as it became a federal law to divert all mining resources to the war effort. The town's population sharply declined shortly thereafter, and by 1950s it had dwindled to approximately 2,000 people. A shutdown of the Prescott Railway in the 1960s, followed by the bypassing of Route 93 by I-40 in the 1986, was the final nail in the coffin for the town. By the 90s, the population had dwindled to just 150 people. Damn, that's a lot less people than the 6,000, yeah, for sure. My goal, however, is to investigate the first event which led to the town's decline and possible demise. Wait, are they going into the mine? Just only gonna sneak in the mine and that's when things go weird. What happened to that mine almost 150 years ago? I've come to Echo to try and find out what information, if any, can be gleaned from the events of the past. I'll wait for a few seconds and look at Leo. Okay, I'm gonna pull out a few hunches. One is, I wonder if the lake that they want to go to is also polluted in some way from the mines, or something like that. I'll wait for a few seconds and look at Leo. Isn't that good? Yeah, don't know how to stop this though. Here, I walk over to take the heavy camera off Leo's paws. That was pretty good. You want to be a reporter? Maybe I'd rather just write than be on camera though. Yo, Chase! Leo and I look up towards the car, greeted by the sight of a bright white ram's ass hanging out of the back window of Leo's van. I don't really react. I mean, despite being self-conscious about his weight, Carl was pretty shameless about stuff like this. I'd probably seen his naked butt more often than I'd seen Leo's. Questionable? And that was saying something. Make sure you get a shot of me. Hey! At that moment, Flynn, who is sitting next to Carl in the back, reaches around and yanks the ram's pants down so they hang around his knees. Even though Carl's pretty quick to pull them back up, I still get a pretty good view of his... Okay, well, yeah... Weird. Leo snorts and I can see Flynn laughing his ass off while Carl punches him in the shoulder. Unfortunately for TJ, who was sitting in the middle row with Jenna, he was looking back at the time and probably got a much better view than I did. Now he's facing forward, covering his face while Jenna sits next to him reading a book, looking uninterested. Nearly 21 and he's still doing that, huh? Yeah, it's a little bit more awkward without you three around though. We head back to the car and I grab the camera bag from the passenger seat to put the camera away. Hey, did you see my ass? Saw more than that. Your thing's about the horrors of Echo, right? It'll be a perfect fit. Well, if you could even fit it on the camera. I stashed the camera bag in the footwell before hopping in. Southwest Adventures is an amusement park right in the middle of Peyton. It's decent enough that people come not just from Peyton, but cities up to 100 miles away to vacation here. Because of this, it's usually crowded, and today is no exception. Families and their kids are just everywhere. Especially those goddamn annoying kids. It's generally a nice day, sunny, and the 80s, and it being on a Sunday added to the crowd. I didn't mind though. The point of this is to hang out with my friends. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starving. Let's get some funnel cakes. Jesus, Carl, we just got here. Yeah, I didn't have any breakfast. You had breakfast alright, a blunt with a side of munchies. It's no problem, you can do that while I plan out what we're doing. Carl ambles off on his way to the funnel cake stand. I snagged one of the park maps from the entrance and I hand that to Leo. Alright, so usually when my family comes here, we go clockwise to hit all the rides. That sounds like a plan. Yeah, it's pretty crowded today, so we probably won't be able to do everything, but in this order, we'll at least be able to ride Event Horizon. You sure the line is always so long for that ride? DJ's looking up towards a tall, spiraling electric red steel roller coaster. It's definitely the most recognizable landmark in the park. You could see it from almost anywhere in Peyton. Yep, fastest and tallest roller coaster in the West. I think it'll be worth it. Oh. TJ rubs his arm with one paw, the corner of his muzzle twitching a little bit. I'd forgotten about that. He used to have a pretty pronounced motor tic, where the corner of his mouth would twitch up and over again. It used to be a constant thing, but it stopped once we entered middle school. Guess it hadn't completely gone away. You alright, TJ? We could skip the big rides if you... Ah, hell, TJ, you're a fucking adult now. No, it's fine, I'm fine. I just haven't been on a roller coaster in a while. TJ snaps his head back towards us. He's all tensed up, and the movement looks like a rubber band being snapped. I'm riding all the rides with you guys. TJ walks off, his paws shoved deep in his pockets. Is TJ going to die in the roller coaster? Just like everyone, this Echo just becomes like Final Destination. And no, I don't want spoilers. I'm sure people won't spoil, but I'm just going to throw out a random. It could be wrong, but it would be funny if true. That it just becomes Final Destination. It's just like TJ just immediately dies on the when they go on the roller coaster, for some, just because he's tiny, let's say. Although I mean, there are smaller animals probably, so it wouldn't make sense, but it would be funny. I feel bad for him, and I want to give him an out somehow, but that's when Carl comes back with his funnel cake. It's topped with ice cream, powdered sugar, and strawberries. Anyone want to share? Yeah, that looks really good. No, alright, guess I'll have to eat the whole thing. Great, now we gotta wait for fat ass to finish eating. Carl pulls his face out of the cake. Even with his white fur, I can see the powdered sugar clinging to his chin. Nah, I can eat in the line. We going on Event Horizon first? The wait'll be an hour long at least. The line ends up being 2 hours long, and by the time we get to the actual ride, I'm dying to get into a pool of any kind. To put it bluntly, an otter needs water. Part of the problem of living in Echo meant that we didn't have any kind of indoor pool system in our house, being as cheap as it was. You just gotta get one of those inflatable pools and bring it back. Why didn't you bring an inflatable pool? What are you doing? Getting like an outdoor pool, but you know, a blow-up one. But this pool system in our house. I mean, that's an indoor pool. Why not an outdoor pool? You just gotta dig a big hole and fill it with water. Obviously, not that simplistically, but you know what I mean. It's just like, get a hole, slather some cement. I mean, cement's pretty easy to make. You could do a custom pool yourself. I mean, what's stopping you? Dig a hole, find an animal that loves digging, get yourself a mole, and tell them to dig, pay them, and then you pay someone else who knows how to mix cement, and just cover all the dirt. And, I don't know, just do research maybe on it. I don't know, man. But it shouldn't be that hard if you really want to swim. We ended up having to get an outdoor swimming pool. Oh, okay, there we go. Which was a pain. Nervous, Chase. I smirk at him. I've ridden it before, Leo. Though your tail's kind of down. Sure you're not nervous? Come on, Leo, let's ride in the front. Oh, I don't know. I watch as Jenna pulls Leo towards the line for the front. which is twice as long as all the others. I opt for the middle, and it just so happens that TJ comes with me. His tufted ears had been poking straight up the entire time, muzzle giving an occasional twitch. I lean over to him. You know, there's an exit over there for people who changed their minds. I'll bet you could slip out without anyone knowing. Looks like not all of us are going to be riding the same train. TJ stares straight ahead, clutching onto the railing. I can see his sharp claws unsheathed, pressing into the metal and chipping away some of the red paint. No, I'm fine. You sure? Yeah, perfectly fine. Well, we're in the middle, which is the best place to be if you don't like the roller coaster. Yeah. I really wanted to be able to get TJ to skip the ride, but it seems like he's pretty determined to do it for some reason. Let him, you know, get used to this shit. He's either got to prove himself or, you know, he's got to try to hurdle over his scares and, you know, burst out of his shell at some point. You can't just coddle your friends all the time. That's unhealthy. Finally, our train comes along and I step in as two laughing and panting hyenas step out. Oh my god, that was the most intense. Holy shit, dude, I know I never get scared on rides and I almost fucking piss myself. I do a quick check of the seat to make sure there isn't any actual piss before sitting down. I look up and see TJ standing on the edge of the platform, his eyes wide, one foot stuck out to get on. TJ. A bored-looking teenage fox comes by to check my lap bar and I stick out my paw. Hey, wait, TJ, you getting on? The fox goes from looking bored to mildly annoyed. If you're getting on, you need to get on now. We can't hold up the entire ride for you, sir. The exit's that way, where the other adventures await. People around us start staring to notice. Unfortunately, Flynn, who is lined up with Carl towards the back, is paying very close attention, grinning like he knew this was going to happen. Aw, TJ too scared. Guess you're a pussy after all. Shut up, Flynn. Hey, TJ, when it gets real bad, just say to yourself, at least I'm not gonna die. Actually, a few people have. Of course, leave it up to the scaly. TJ. I yell up at him, and that seems to jar TJ out of his trance. He almost falls into the car as he stumbles into it, fumbling with his shoulders restraints before the fox attendant sighs and leans down to do it for him. I can see the red on the insides of TJ's ears as he blushes, and I feel my own ears burn a little from second-hand embarrassment. Now that it's too late, I realize that we shouldn't have started with this ride. We should have started with something smaller to build up his confidence. I'm jolted back as the train moves forward. Oh gosh. TJ's paw lashes out and latches onto my arm. Oh no, why am I doing this? I reach over to try and move his paw from my arm and back onto the handle on his shoulder restraints. It's like, if you claw me up, I swear to God, TJ, hold on to that, my arm, you're gonna chase quiet. I pause, staring at the lynx. I'm really not used to hearing TJ yell. He's almost puffed out to twice his size. I just need some quiet right now, and Our train begins its ascent up the first hill, and I can feel TJ's claws pricking through my fur into the skin. He starts mumbling quietly to himself, his eyes closed. TJ, are you praying? He doesn't say anything, and soon we've reached the apex of the climb. I give up trying to move his paw and sit back, a little nervous myself. I really hope TJ doesn't completely lose it. You know, I guess claw my character up who's an otter. I rinsed the blood off my arm in a dirty theme park bathroom. It wasn't as bad as I thought it could have been, though TJ did start crying when we hit the first inversion. He had scratched the shit out of my forearm, grabbing it with both paws once we started the descent. That's why I don't like roller coastering with fucking pussies. Ugh. He's a pussycat after all, and that was the joke. Ha ha ha. But no, I've been on like rides before with people who just it gets annoying. It's like when you're on a roller coaster and they don't know how to hold on, and they slam their body weight into you, kind of stuff. I had to deal with that. It's just like I remember just being so annoyed because they didn't hold the bars, and they were just like literally squashing me, like flattening me with the centrifugal force of the ride, and their body was just like basically body slamming me with the weight every fucking time it rotated a certain way. And I just really wanted to punch them in the face. My God, that's fucking annoying. Horrible memories. Never going with anyone else unless I tell them, hold the fucking bar. Don't you dare move your fucking body. Use all your might. I'm not dealing with you crushing me, man. I'm like, God damn. Let's see. Unfortunately, Flynn and Carl were still on the platform when we rolled back into the boarding station. Flynn looked ready to play into TJ again, but when he saw the tears, he had the decency to hold back. I helped the shaking Lynx out of the car, and somehow we managed to stumble into the bathroom where he quickly hid in a stall. I should have forced him out the exit. He'd always had anxiety problems, though I think we all believed it was a childhood thing, and that he'd gotten over. I don't know if he still takes medication. Hey TJ. Yeah? We should probably get back. Leo texted me that they're all waiting by the ride. Yeah, I'll be out in a second. The cheerfulness in his voice is forced. I ignore the weird looks I'm getting from the other people in the bathroom and instead inspect my arm. The scratches are pretty superficial, so the bleeding has stopped. No one would notice it under the thick fur, even if it's tender as hell. I hear the stall door open behind me, and through the mirror I see TJ come out. He sees me looking over my arm and his face crumples up again. Chase, I'm sorry. Is it bad? I really don't want him to start crying again. TJ cried a lot when he was a kid, almost every day, and even at 19 it seems like he's pretty susceptible. It's fine, it's fine. Doesn't even hurt. Ah, well, that's good. We stand there awkwardly for a few seconds, then I air out my shirt, which was starting to stick to my sweaty body. Listen, it's honestly getting way too hot for me to wait in line all day. I think I'd rather just sit down and watch some shows or something. Oh yeah? Yeah, you want to do that with me? TJ's ears come up a little, and he clutches his paws together, the fidgeting subsiding a bit. Yeah, Chase. I think that'll be fun. I can tell he's at least a little relieved. Could just do some bumper cars. Why not bumper cars? Bumper cars are fun. If he cries about bumper cars, I swear to God. We both head out towards the ride, and I spot the four of them waiting by the exit. I furrow my brow as I spot Carl crouched on the ground, Jenna kneeling next to him and rubbing his back. Hey, everything alright? Jenna looks up, a sympathetic smile on her face. Were you too stoned and you threw up or something? Carl's not feeling too good. You want to sit on a bench or something? If I move, I'm gonna... That's what you get for stuffing your face right before the ride. Oh yeah, sweet stuff before rides. Yeah... Not the best. You should also go to the bathroom before doing roller coasters. My god, one time I was like half full bladder. Oh... Like seriously, always go to the bathroom. And if you have diarrhea, never go on rides if you have diarrhea. That's another thing. You think they sell ginger pills here, or ginger ale at least? A joint would be nice. Weed doesn't fix everything, man. There are some vendors over there. I'll go check. I'm actually kind of glad everyone's preoccupied with Carl right now. Take some of the heat off TJ. Let's move you to a bench. It'll be better if you're sitting down. Slowly, Jenna and Leo lift Carl up, and now I can see from his face that he really is ill. To the average person, our little outing might already seem like a disaster, but this is perfectly typical for us. Nothing ever went according to plan. We sit Carl at a bench, and he bends over, his face in his hands as he moans softly. TJ comes back with a medium-sized cup in his paws. He sits next to Carl. No ginger ale, but they did have some lime soda. Carl takes it and sips a bit of it before sitting back and belching. Fuck it, I'm done, guys. What? What are you gonna do all day? Sit there? Actually, me and Chase are gonna go see some shows. You can come with us. Guys, we were doing this to hang out with each other, remember? Leave him. We're wasting time. Flynn turns and walks off, his hands shoved in his pockets, hunched like a stone gargoyle. He definitely looked the part, being a lizard. Damn, that was probably a bit speciesist. Oh no, not the speciesism. We all have our phones. Just text us, right? Sure. Jenna turns and follows Flynn, but Leo hesitates a moment. He looks at me before eventually turning to follow Flynn and Jenna. Yeah, make up your mind, man. If you want to ride on rides, ride the rides. If you want to watch TV, then you come with us. Easy. 5 minutes later, Carl's stomach settles to the point where he's able to get up and walk. At this point, I'm completely wiped out, and I just want to sit down. I point out the first stage we see, and they agree. I sigh gratefully when I sit down. You look tired as shit. I crack an eye open to see Carl giving me a sidelong glance. I don't sleep very well in motel beds. I actually woke up around 2. You were gone. Now TJ's looking at me too, and I feel my gut clench for a second. Yeah, I tried to go for a walk down the street. Hoped it would help me get tired. Well, if that happens again, you can just walk over to my house. I'm up until like 3 every night. Why? Carl shrugs, leaning back and sticking his hooves up against the chair in front of him, earning him a dirty glance from its occupier. Games mostly, sometimes I read. Carl rubs his chin, opening his muzzle, closing it, then opening it again. You know, it would be pretty cool if you spent the night one of these days. That house can be creepy as hell when you're the only one in it. You're alone. Yeah, parents are out vacationing in the regal paradise, having a bloody good time, they tell me. Carl tries to put on an accent, but doesn't do a very good job of it. Oh, did you want to go with them? Carl blows a raspberry, laughing. Not really. Mom told me right away that weed isn't legal there either, so I took that as them not wanting me to come along. No. They did say that the chocolate there is real, whatever that means, and that they'd bring me some. Guess I'm not enough of a fat ass yet. Come on, Carl. But dude, I'm getting there. Soon all I'll have to do is stand in front of the mirror, block out my face, and jerk it to my moves? What? I make a dumb snorting, croaking sound, and I can feel TJ looking at the two of us disapprovingly. Not the hardest thing to do when you're high. Wait, so you've actually done it? Carl shrugs, smirking at me. What the fuck? It's just a weird level of degeneracy you probably shouldn't admit. I reach out and grab his chest. From what I can tell, there's a pretty firm set of pecs under there. Carl puts a mock, horrified look on his face. Sexual assault, he touched my breast. Oh, whatever, Carl, they're harder than mine. So now we're teenage girls in the locker room comparing racks. You're the one that brought up tits. You know what, I can see it. Yeah. You're the hot, preppy one everyone likes. I'm the big fat chick you're all nice to, but call Big Thunder Mountain behind her back. And TJ. TJ hadn't been paying attention, distracted with watching some dancers come on stage. He looks innocently at us. Eh? You're the cute, naive Christian chick that only takes it up the butt so as to stay a virgin. What? Let me feel your boobies, I want to compare. What in the world are you No! Small but perky. After a few seconds of tussling and Carl getting smacked in the nose by TJ, somebody shushes us from behind and we're forced into silence. The show starts off with a bunch of mice having a weird sort of hoedown. TJ's really into it and actually starts clapping along. I smile. TJ could definitely be kinda cute sometimes. Carl just rubs his nose and leans back, watching with a smirk, as if the whole thing is a joke to him. At this point, my eyelids were feeling really heavy. At most, I've gotten maybe 4 hours of sleep last night. I think about leaning my head back, but the backs of the seats are pretty low and I just end up my head hanging over the back. Leaning forward would be impossible. I could lean on one of my friends. I don't think they'd mind. Oh. Okay, well, let's save here then. We can lean on TJ then. Oh. TJ might be smaller, but he's definitely an easy guy to convince, especially if he thinks he's helping someone out. TJ, can I lean on you for a bit? What? Why? He looks a little uncomfortable. I'm so tired, man. Alright. I lay my head in the crook of his neck, and I feel him tense up a bit, but after a while he relaxes. There's some heat coming off his neck. I'm pretty sure he's blushing. It's not too bad, though. He may be slender, but his fur is pretty damn soft. The sounds of the clapping and fiddles start to drift away as the lack of sleep takes its toll. I'm definitely going to have to save and drop it here, though. Things are getting a little suspicious sounding, though. I think it's a good time to save, yes. Very questionable ambience. But hey, I hope you enjoyed and look forward to more of Echo. If you've been enjoying, please leave a like, comment, hit that subscribe button, become a Fluff Scarver, hit the bell notification down below for updates on my videos. Thank you for watching, and until the next time.